Hello and welcome to this video where we'll take a look at ChituManager inside Chitubox. So ChituManager is actually pretty good to keep track of your network 3D printers and also allow you to send this file to the 3D printer via your network. So first, when you have installed Chitubox, it will not be with Chitubox out of the box. So you need to go and hit Chitubox and then actually go and download and install it. So when you have downloaded it, you can go and click next at the setup here and next again and let it install. Just say yes to this box. And when the installation is complete, we can go and launch ChituManager. So the first thing you will do when you're inside ChituManager is to go and add a printer. And a specific thing that you have to know is that this will only work on your local network. So it will not work across the internet. But with that said, I actually don't know if you could go and use a VPN. I haven't tried that. So if you're sitting on another internet than where the printer is actually set up, you might go and use a VPN and then print via that. But let's go and add a printer. So first of all, it will go and make a search. And as you can see, I have my 3D printer right here. But I have to say in the beginning, it wasn't that easy because I have a mesh at my home. And when I have to search for this 3D printer, I actually found out that my mesh was set up incorrect. And the reason was that my router was on one network and my mesh was on another network. Even though they was called the same, the both networks, then it couldn't find it because the IP address was not in the same local network. So if your printer doesn't show up here, you really need to make sure that you are on the same network, so the same Wi-Fi. And a way you can test it is actually go to the command line, and then you have to go to your 3D printer. You can, inside the settings of your 3D printer, see what IP address it have, and then you can go to your computer and you can say ping, and you can just go and type the actual IP address. So when you do this, you should get a reply like this if the computer actually have a connection to the 3D printer. So if I try to take another IP address that doesn't work, then you can see it says that the destination host is unreachable. So if you type the right address in here and you get these messages, then you really have to go and sit down and look at your network to see why it cannot reach the 3D printer. And in my case, it was very confusing because I have my router that my PC was set to, and then this 3D printer that was connected to my mesh. And my mesh and my router had two different networks. Even though they have like the same IP address, they have the same subnet. So I had to go to the router and reconfigure it so it was on the same local network as the mesh. But if your printer is here, you can really just go and say add printer, and then you can go and click on the printer here and you will get a lot of details. So for example, how many layers have been created on the printer. So as you can see, mine is almost used up, but it is really a guide. If your fab sheet is okay, don't go and change it. But when you change it, you can go on your printer and reset this. Then you also have the time here. It's the exposure time. So how long the UV light has been used for. So, you know, when you create a layer, it is 3.5 seconds in my case right now. Then it will go and add 3.5 seconds here. And then when it don't do any UV light, it will not count up. So it's just every time that you create a layer for 3.5 seconds or 3 seconds if you set it to that this will count up. And I do believe that you can have a few thousand hours on the UV light on the screen before you have to change the actual screen. And else you just have a lot of details here. Also the resolution of the screen and the print size that you can actually go and print. And in my case, my 3D printer have a camera inside, so I can make time lapses. So I can just go and tap this on and off. But the last thing I will show you is that when we go out of the ChituManager here, we can go and say slice, and now the network sending should be available. It will just open ChituManager here. So what this actually do is just sending the file to the printer. It will not start printing once you do this. So when this is uploaded, you do have to click print afterward. It is like a thing I have done multiple times. I just say send, and then I think it will start printing, and then I leave. And a couple of hours later, I discovered that I had to click print. And again, then it will transfer the file. So what it have done now is actually just send the print to the printer. So you could go and click print if your printer is ready for printing. I will not click it because it's not ready right now. And else, it's also just a good idea. You can just send it to the printer. So right now, I could just physically go to the 3D printer and click into the local files, and then this file should be in my 3D printer. So I hope this was helpful, and go and have a nice day. Bye.